vision, leadership, workplace-related topics. The Voices of Victory podcast show. Subscribe today. Let's go.
Vision, leadership, self-esteem, workplace-related topics.
Subscribe.
The Voices of Victory podcast show.
Voices of Victory.
Vision,
Voices of Victory.
leadership,
Voices of Victory.
workplace-related topics.
The Voices of Victory.
Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory.
It's time for the show. You are now listening to the Voices of Victory podcast show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mario Di Leone.
Hello and welcome to the Voices of Victory podcast. I am your host, Mario Di Leone, and today's episode is Bulletproof Boundaries, because I'm never your emotional dumpster. So this is the secret sauce behind Bulletproof Boundaries. So listen up, because before you go swinging your no around like a medieval sword, you got to get your internal wiring right. We have to get our head straight. Because if your brain is still thinking that the word no is a felony and a problem, you will crumble like a wet cannoli the second someone fake cries right in front of you. So what should your mindset be when it comes down to boundaries? Your mind has to believe one thing. One thing. My peace is never negotiable. Write that down, put it on a Post-it note, put it on your mirror, and brush your teeth with your left hand as you read it in the morning in the privacy of your own mind, because we don't want toothpaste all over the mirror. Also understand that your peace is never negotiable. My peace is never negotiable. My sanity is never up for grabs. This is not some cute slogan. This is law. You don't walk into Costco and negotiate the price of a 72-pack of muffins. You either pay it or get the hell out. It's same with your energy. That's the thing. Now, what should your belief system be? You must believe that you are never a rescue helicopter or a 24/7 therapy hotline or a sympathy ATM for other people. You are never responsible for other people's tantrums. You're never responsible for their expectations or the narratives that they have of you in their head. You're not responsible for those either. Or that weird look they gave you when you said no. If someone's feelings explode because you respected yourself, that's their inner circus. You don't need to buy a ticket, and you certainly don't need to be the clown. Now, what actions should we actually take? Because boundaries are not always verbal. Contrary to popular belief, boundaries are not always verbal. Here's the move. Say it, mean it, and move on. No mental gymnastics, no trapeze, no arguing in the shower for 3 days about what you should or shouldn't have said. You deliver your boundary. Boundaries were made to be delivered, much like a pizza guy. Quick, clean, minimal small talk, a quick exchange, and get the hell off my property. You don't have to be nice about it, but you have to be clear. Trust me, clarity will save your life faster than nice ever will. Because if you are constantly negotiating with other people, you're going to begin to seek approval or hand over your self-esteem to the entire world. Let's talk about a bonus tip. If your voice shakes, or your hands sweat, or your grandma's ghost seems to judge you in some way, do it anyway. And do it slowly. Something you can do with your speech is slow, deep, and spaced words. If the words have spacing between them and you delay the time between each word, I am no longer going to do that. Thank you. I am no longer going to do that. Deep voice. Do it anyway. Courage isn't waiting until you feel good. Courage isn't waiting until there's the quote-unquote right moment. Courage is doing the right thing while your brain is screaming like it's on fire. say the next thing. Send the text, close the door, block the number, eat the cannoli, especially the cannoli. Because I like cannolis. One's covered in chocolate, of course. But that's besides the point. People who love you will respect you because they respect your boundaries. People who don't will write you as angry. And you're not responsible for the narratives that other people have in their heads. Okay? People will write these angry Facebook Yelp-like reviews in their little digital diary. Either way, congratulations, you're free. Their narrative doesn't dictate who you are. Period. End of story. Protect your peace like it's the last cannoli on earth. Because bulletproof boundaries is because you are not their emotional dumpster. You're not a person that they can drop off their anguish to all the time. That's what it's all about. So we got to take this to the next level. You survived, let's say, expressing it. You learned to say no like a grown-up. Now it's time for the next segment. How do you exit crazy situations faster than a rat from a burning cannoli shop? Well, you have to be able to identify the boundary busters, the things that will kind of push through your boundaries. Understand that not everybody is going to say thank you for protecting your mental health. Just get that. Whatever you say what you're going to say to them, they're not going to thank you for protecting your own mental health. That's not going to happen. Some people will act like you crapped on their front lawn. They will act like you ran over their pet hamster just because you didn't answer their text in 4 minutes because they were in some kind of dire emotional need. Now, here's the rule. If they don't respect small boundaries, they'll trample big ones. And what some people will do is they'll do what I call inch testing. It's called inch testing. Inch testing means they'll try to test your boundary just 1 inch at a time. All right, you laid down your boundary and they'll say, oh, but can't we just do that for 5 minutes? What about 1 minute? So they'll try to negotiate and inch their way past your boundaries. And this is where you have to give them a hard no. And say, but the best phrase, and I've learned this from an old friend who is a security guard. I love this guy. He was very good at telling people no. And what he used to say was, let's try this again. The answer is no. And he would repeat that. Let's try this again. And the answer is no. One more time. Let's try this again. This is non-negotiable. The answer is no. And he would just repeat that. Repeat that. And tone of voice is really good when you do it. And eye contact is really good if you're face-to-face with them. But if you don't respect the small boundaries, if they don't respect the small boundaries, they'll trample on big ones, or they'll simply inch test their way. So an inch test means, and you're not going to hear this, by the way, you're not going to hear this from any other channel out there. You're not going to hear anything about the phrase inch test. The inch test is when they say something to test how far they can push that boundary. That's what they're doing. So they're trying to inch test that. When they inch test it, what they're looking for is kind of a negotiation. They want to negotiate something small, right? And you got to remember, I teach negotiation. And people will negotiate several small things until they get something big. Got it? So when they inch test, they're going to simply do small bouts of negotiation until they break past your boundary. Got it? So boundary busters, they come in a whole host of flavors. Let's talk about the very first one. The very first one is the guilt tripper. The old phrase of, after everything I've done for you, right? Good old everything I've done for you script. Or the person who's a steamroller, I don't take no for an answer, right? Or the professional victim. Everyone always abandons me. No one wants to be my friend. No one wants to hang out with me, right? We've seen that happen before. Everyone abandons me. You got to spot them fast. You got to smile politely, and you got to back away like you just found out that they have rabies. Now, keep in mind, you got to master some of the escape moves. You don't always need to talk it out. You don't always have to have room for negotiation. If you have room for negotiation, they will inch test you. And when they inch test you, they will get multiple tiny negotiations until they break your boundary down. Because what they're actually doing is breaking you down. People will wear other people out. Okay, I worked in sales, probably one of the most difficult types of sales out there, which I'm not going to discuss for personal reasons, but probably by far one of the most difficult types of sales out there. And one of the strategies were just wear them down. Keep them there 5 minutes longer and just wear them down until they say yes. And it gets to the point where it's annoying and almost bordering into insult. Right? So keep in mind, you don't always need to talk it out like a bad Lifetime TV show. Sometimes you just need to set your boundary, vanish faster than your paycheck does on a Friday night. Now, here's your move: the polite eject. I have to run. Thank you for understanding. Take care. Exit stage left immediately. Or the silent exit: no reply, no explanation, just air. That's the silent exit. No reply, no explanation, just air. You wall them. You become the wall. You ignore them like you're a wall, an immovable wall. Then there's the tactical block: social media, phone, carrier pigeon. Block them every which way. You can block emails as well when they start to email you. Yes, you can. And a life tip: if you wouldn't trust someone to feed your dog, then why are you letting them starve your peace? Right? Don't let them starve your peace, because again, inch testing is about breaking that down. Let's talk about armor. You have to armor your mind daily. You brush your teeth. You can try it with your left hand, and I say that because it's ingraining your subconscious. You brush your teeth every day, I hope. You have to brush your mind every day too, because boundary busters, they love the dirty, tiny, inch testing, unguarded minds. When your mind is not guarded, if you're not guarding your time, guarding your peace, protecting your schedule, protecting access to you. And that's another thing. If you haven't ever listened to my episode on the castle principle, you are your own castle. You are your own kingdom, and you have to have sovereignty over your own life. You have to rule over your own life. The internal parts of who you are is literally your treasure inside the castle. And guess what? You have to be able to guard that castle. And the drawbridge is that boundary. And if people are going to come in and experience your kingdom, experience your treasure and what you have to offer them, there is a token of trust. And when people break that token of trust, as they did in medieval times, and that's why wars broke out, the people are going to look for the unguarded minds. If you're going to infiltrate a castle, the first thing you do is wait till the guards are asleep, or they're not paying attention, or they're out to lunch. They're not guarding the gates. They're not guarding the walls, right? So you have to be able to have that guarded mind. Otherwise, people will inch test you. Inch by inch, they will negotiate with you to try to break down your boundaries. Now, have a morning affirmation. Say it like an absolute war cry. I am never a vending machine for validation. I am never a life raft for chaos. Today, my peace is locked. It's loaded, and it's fully present. Say it, mean it, say it with emotion, then sip your coffee like an unbothered, cannoli-eating boss that you are. Now, you're going to get pushback, and that's the thing. People that are nice and kind, when they get pushback, they might try to laugh or just kind of pretend that the boundary didn't happen. No, expect pushback and laugh at them. Don't simply just laugh it off. But here's the big secret that nobody tells you. When you level up, people will freak out. Okay? When you level up, people will freak out. When you become more confident, that shines a spotlight on someone else's shadows. In other words, your confidence shines a light on the shadow of somebody's lack of confidence, and they don't like that. So when you level up, people will freak out. That's not a sign that what you're doing is wrong. Welcome to the world of confidence and self-esteem, where you have to have the courage to be disliked, because to be universally liked is complete bullshit and physically impossible. It is impossible to have everyone like you. If you're going to do that, quit this podcast and go sell ice cream. Now, it's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're finally playing at a higher frequency. You are literally laying down your boundaries and you actually mean it. People who once loved your weakness will absolutely despise your strength. Let me repeat that again. People who once loved your weakness will absolutely hate and despise your strength. Smile at them, wink at them, walk away, and just whistle like you're going about your day. You're not a volunteer firefighter for dumpster fires anymore. It doesn't happen. And you have to be able to upgrade your circle. After building boundaries, something amazing starts to happen. You start to attract people that respect walls. They respect boundaries because they have their own. They have their castle, you have their castle, and you let down your drawbridge, they let down theirs, and then there's a token of exchange of trust in the middle. And then everybody gets to have the party inside their own kingdom. And suddenly, you're not stuck babysitting other adults' emotions. You're around folks who say things like, of course, no problem, no worries. Like, I respect your time. I respect your schedule. Thank you for telling me. Take your time, right? Take your time. So just remember, I want to say congratulations because you just entered the VIP section of your life where emotional maturity is actually a dress code. Think of it as your identity. Like you have an identity, and emotional maturity and boundaries is your dress code over your identity. So yeah, I'm just going to stand on a rooftop and yell with joy. Bulletproof boundaries are not walls to trap yourself. They're walls to keep the clowns outside because everybody's got a circus and they want to bring it to your town. So, that being said, protect your peace like it's the last cannoli on earth and guard your exit like it's the last helicopter out of Rome. Now, remember what I said. You have your castle, they have theirs, and there's always an exchange of trust, what we call the trust token. There's an exchange of trust where they come into your kingdom and you come into theirs. And that's all I have to say on this episode. Have a great day and see you on the next episode.